Hello, CAD/CAM explorers. So for this tutorial, we're gonna learn how to make a dinosaur. Um, it'll be probably pretty blocky. I'm not just because you all are beginners at this. I'm gonna talk about a few different things when we're working in 3D design, and we'll make like a basic blocky little dinosaur. So this is um, my first creation at trying to make some sort of blocky dinosaur. When you think about it, right, it's easy to make something two-dimensional, right? Like these curves are nice, and it looks more natural because in this one we use a spline, but that only gets like one side of the dinosaur, right? And then cutting things out and extruding it, as you see, like it's pretty much just a 2D design that has been uh, given some depth. But to really get the shape and features of a dinosaur, you need to make several different shapes and connect them. Um, but without getting too advanced with all these different features, we'll have to stick with a basic looking dinosaur, Minecraft looking dinosaur. Um, his nose is kind of creepy, but uh, it'll make do. And it won't look exactly the same the second one because again, this is just freehand kind of stuff. We're not using dimensions and making things all perfect. So so that's the intro. For so to start up, right, you want to get into your Onshape account. So log in and then click into create and then click into document and then we'll just do Dino 2 and open up a document. And now, so we're in the interface, and now this is our viewing cube. So over here you can click on different views and it'll turn you around. You can also use your arrow keys to move around different ways, and then the scroll on the mouse. If you have a mouse, that would be super helpful to be using a mouse with this. Using a pad is really difficult. But if you don't have a mouse, then you would just sort of tweeze, pinch in and out with on the pad to zoom in and out. But I highly suggest you get your mouse um, to do any 3D modeling. So we're gonna start here making the dinosaur's legs. So to start, we're gonna create a sketch, and then we're gonna select the top plane. So to make sure that you're selecting the top plane, it needs to be highlighted, or you can actually go over here and select the top plane. So when you have a lot of things going on, it's sometimes easier just to click over here to get that sketch on the top plane. Okay, so now basically that plane is now your canvas, right? Now that's your area to make your two-dimensional sketches. So you can click on N to get normal to that plane, or you can just go and click on the top over here with your viewing cube. And now we are zoomed in, excuse me, and on the top portion of your plane. And now we can start to make sketches. So just to make sure that we have everything sort of symmetrical, I'm going to first create a line. So L is the hotkey for that, and then Q is the hotkey for construction. So you can click on these, and once they're highlighted, it means that they are active. So I'm creating a construction line, and then once I'm done with creating the construction line, I'm just going to hit escape to get out of that function. So now I have a construction line that kind of breaks it the middle up. So now I can make things symmetrical. For his legs, or for his or her legs, I'm just gonna create squares. So one square here, and then another square, and I'm gonna try to line it up. So if you like go over, notice how I'm in the square command. If you go over to the square and then kind of drag it down, you get that dotted line going, and then you click, and then notice how it snaps in along that square. And then I'm gonna click again, and then I'm just gonna quickly dimension these so I know that they are indeed symmetrical. So click on the D key for dimensioning, so that's dimension. And I'm gonna click from the dotted line to that straight line, and then I'm gonna shorten that distance a little bit, so 0.6. And then as soon as you do that, it kind of shrinks everything to that scale, which is fine. And then I'm going to make this 0.5, and then 0.5, because I want them square, so that's fine. And then this one is also going to be 0.6, so that this is going to be the midpoint of the dinosaur. And then I'm going to dimension this line to 0.5 and this line to 0.5. And now I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and shorten this distance a little bit now that I'm looking at it. I'm going to try a 0.4 and see how that looks. And that looks good. All right, now I'm going to make a couple more for his hind legs. And I'm going to go out. And if you're ever in something and you just want to get out and you don't want to do it, just hit escape. So if I'm in here and I click and I want to get out of here, hit escape. So I'm going to click there and then zoom in here. And again, I'm going to use this as my reference so I get that dotted line going on. And then I'm going to, and notice that side length is a 0.5. So that's good. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. And then look how it references that other square, which is super handy because that's what we want. We want everything to be a little bit symmetrical here. But it doesn't have to be perfect either. So this is good enough for me. And what we're going to do from here is extrude these legs upward. So I'm going to click on the extrude, or the hotkey is in parentheses, so Shift E. And that's going to, if I arrow key up, I'm going to see my legs extruding up. And 1 inch, that seems like a decent length for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and check that off. So I got my 4 legs going on here, and notice down here that they're all different parts. If I want them all the same color, I can just go and select them all, and then right click on them, and then go to edit appearance for 4 parts, and then I can go ahead and make them all green. And then you can do that after too. You don't have to do that right now. So all right, so I got my 4 dino legs, and now I'm going to make the body. So notice I am split in the middle here, right? It's split in the middle. The front plane, so the front plane, this plane here, this plane here is splitting these legs in the middle. So when I create a sketch and go into the front plane, so create a sketch and go into the front plane, I need to remember that in order to have the body covering both legs, I need to extrude it not in one direction. I can't make it 3D in one direction, but both directions. So what I'm going to do now is create another rectangle. He's going to be a boxy dino, which is fine for a beginner 3D modeling. And then I'm going to click up here, and then click over here, and I'm just gonna arrow key to see how that looks, and I like it. It's not bad. So then I'm gonna click on the extrude key, and again, you can change the colors after. Don't worry about it now. So if you're looking around, and that actually looks pretty good, because that's what I was going for. I want his body to be a little bit beyond the legs. But I want that in both directions. So I'm gonna click on second end position, and then I am indeed over his legs a little bit. And I want it symmetrical. I want this both to be 1 inch and 1 inch. Check it off. And I got the dino's body. So that looks pretty cool so far. And again, I can change the color over here. Just right click on it and then edit appearance. Maybe I want his body to be a little bit lighter than his legs. Maybe it'll give that shadowing effect for his legs. And from here I'm going to create his tail. So this is a little bit more in depth. I'm not just going to extrude a block. I am going to actually make a trail for his tail. So I need to create 2 profiles and a trail. So to do that, I need to create another plane. So this was going to give me the length of his tail when I create that other plane. So if you click here on plane, and then I want to reference another plane. So I'm gonna reference the right plane. So click on right plane, and notice how I have another plane that's coming into focus, right? Plane 1. And I need this because I need a profile for the end point of his tail. So depending on how large you want the tail, so if I'm looking at the front, so envision the tail coming down like this. So maybe I want it a little bit bigger than that. Give him a long tail. So that will give the tail some good length. So about 4.8. I could go out to 5, but that looks good. Check it off. So now I need to create 2 profiles and then a pathway those profiles will meet. So I'm going to create a sketch on the butt of the dino. So sketch, click on your dino's butt, and now if you click on the right side here, or you click the hotkey N, I'm going to be normal to that sketch. So we got a lot of planes going on here, but don't get confused. We're drawing inside here right now, and I am going to use a square, and I'm not gonna have it the exact size of this, but it'll be close to that, and I'm just gonna click somewhere around there, and then somewhere around here, and then check it off. So from here, from here, I need to make a path. So click on the front plane, and I'm going to make a path from the midpoint here that curves downward to there. So I'm going to create another sketch, click on the front plane, and now I'm going to click on this spline tool. So this spline tool makes some cool curves that you can use. And we are going to create a curvy tail. So have it curve up and then maybe down like that. So so we're good. So now what we need to do, check that off, is create another profile that the square is going to follow into getting the end of the tail. So now I'm going to create a sketch on plane 1. Click over to the right, so now we're over here. Coincide. So once you have everything sort of lined up, and then you have that spline, you can check it off, and it will make your tail. And notice how it kind of curves down. And again, I could have made this bigger. So if you want to go ahead and click into plane 1 and extend this out more, feel free to do so. Check it off. But then you're going to have to move. You're also going to have to make sure that these actually line up too. So your spline, right, needs to line up with that plane. And then it can actually move out. So again, this is, and then you could even make that if you want, if you think that circle's too big, right? You can go ahead and reduce the size of it, and then maybe move it up a little bit so that it's intersecting that line. Check it off. So now it gives a better effect of the tail. So, and again, how I did the loft, right, is you have to select two profiles. So the two profiles we made are this circle and that square. Oops, it's going into the, so profile, click into profiles. It's this square and this circle, and then the path is that spline that you created. And I just saw something interesting. I want to see if... Oh, that's cool. So if you actually select the point of the circle, it'll go to that point. So that's pretty cool. So now we got like this authentic looking tail thing going on. So from here we need to make the dinosaur's head. So we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to do a similar thing with his neck as we did with the tail. So what we're going to do, so from the front, or click on the left side, is we're going to create a sketch again. And we're going to create that square again. That looks good. And then we are going to check that off. And again, we need to make a plane. So this time the spline's going to be coming up like that. So I'm going to sketch on the front plane again with the spline tool. And I'm going to start somewhere in the middle here. And just sort of, if we zoom out a little bit, we'll get a better idea of how it's looking. And then just hit escape to get out. So we need a plane to be somewhere around here. So check that off. And now we're going to create another plane. And we are referencing the right plane. So this plane. Or we could reference plane 1. Doesn't really matter. But we'll keep going to the right. But now the offset distance, we want it the other way. So we can just click on this arrow here and drag that out. But make sure that this plane will intersect this line. So these planes go on for forever. Like, so that's not the constraints of the plane, right? You can draw way up here just like I did. So you just got to make sure that it's within this. All right, so that looks good. About 4.8 again. And now I'm going to create a sketch on my new plane I just created. So arrow key around over to the new plane. Click on N to get there. Zoom out a little bit and zoom back in to get up here. And now I'm going to create a circle. And again, that might be a little bit too big, but we'll see how it comes out once we do the lofting tool. So again, we're gonna select. We don't need all these planes right now, so if you want to get rid of the planes, just hit P, and now that can kind of you can kind of focus a little bit. So now I'm gonna click on Loft, click on the profiles, right? So my first profile is this, second profile is that, and now we want it to follow this path. So click on Path, click on the curve, and hopefully it can follow it, and it can. So check it off, and we have a tail, we have a neck, and our dinosaur is looking pretty cool. So now we need to make the head. So and I didn't choose the point of this because now we can actually create a head that's going to be up here. So with the head, we're gonna create it up here. So I want to see my planes again. So click on P to show all the planes. And now I'm going to create another sketch on my front plane. But the head's going to be way up here. So that's cool. That's okay because, again, these are not the constraints of where you can draw. These go on to infinity. So I'm gonna make his head an elliptical shape. So I'm gonna go in here and click on ellipse, and then around here I'm gonna click about there, and then I'm gonna make this come out. I'm not liking that, so I'm gonna hit escape and then go back into ellipse. There we go. Maybe an angle would be a little bit better. And now the width. And now I'm going to create a line that goes from the midpoint over to the quadrant, and then over to this quadrant, escape, and then I'm going to hit the M key for trim, and I'm just going to choose either the top or the bottom of the ellipse. I'm going to choose revolve and click on revolve axis, click on this axis, and check it off. All right, so now it looks like a dinosaur with a jelly bean head. So from here, I'm gonna cut out his mouth. So I'm gonna be using this front plane again. So sketch, click on my front plane, and then I'm gonna click on a line. And then I'm just gonna make a basic sort of triangle for his mouth, and then extrude, and I'm going to extrude remove. I need a second end position and check it off. So that looks good. And now I'm going to create an eye on that front plane again, but up by his head. Sketch, front plane, ellipse for the eye. And now extrude this one out. And this one I'm going to create new. And this will give it a new part, and then it'll be easier just to change the color, and it'll automatically change the color too. I need a second end position, and for this one I'm going to arrow key over to see what's going on here. And yeah, those eyes are way too big. So I'm going to shrink those down a little bit. And check it off. So now I'm going to take a look at my dino. He looks pretty cool. So you can go in and add some details if you want. You can change colors of faces. So if you want to change just the color of his eyes, right? If you click on part 6, then you right click, you edit appearance. Maybe you want a black eye, and maybe you want his mouth to be a different color. So if you click on there, and then if you zoom out a little bit, right click, and then it says add appearance to face. You can add an appearance, maybe red, or like a darker red. Check it off. And you can add different things like that. If you want to try to round them off a little bit, there's a fillet command. So click on that, and you can actually click on the edges here to try to round them off. I think he looks cool blocky though, so don't go crazy trying to make him perfect. Yeah, so that one didn't work, so we'll have to unselect that one. So if your fillet command isn't working, it's usually because the radius is too large. So you can, if you reduce this size to say 0.1, it'll be a smaller rounded edge, and then it'll probably work for you. No. Alright, well, that doesn't want to work for us, so that's fine. Alright, check it off. So you can do little things like that to make it a little less boxy. But I think he looks cool boxy. So there you have it. Your basic sort of dinosaur. If you want to turn off the planes and then turn off the origin and get a better view of them. And if you can manipulate the cameras here. So if you don't want to see all these edges shaded without edges, kind of smooths them out. So that looks pretty neat, not seeing all those hard lines and black edges. And then you can also turn perspective on. So that's kind of cool because it gives you a perspective of like how like a person would actually view it. So notice like the things get much larger with so if you're over by his head, the head appears to be larger, and that's just playing with some perspective there. So so yeah, that's about it. And I'm looking at him now. It kind of looks like a dinosaur Kermit the Frog. So, oh yes, the last thing I want to show you is you can actually save this as a JPEG. So if you create something you really like and you want the image of it, you can just go over here, click on here, and print, and then you can actually download the image. So this dotted line is where it would fall, the image would fall. So if you wanted a landscape, and then if you click on download, it automatically downloads the image. And then if you go ahead and click into it, you have an image saved, your own creation, and now you can do what you will with that. You can post it, you can share it, you can save it and send it to a friend, whatever you want to do. So it's pretty cool. So good luck with this. Take your time and ask questions if you have any issues along the way. All right, good luck.